All right. So if you want to make your website look fantastic and convert more visitors into leads while spending a fraction of the time customizing it, good. We do too. So today we're going to share some of our brand new design features, some really cool things we've added to Carrot websites so you can really easily create a website that you're proud of and produces more ROI. So, friends, welcome back to the Evergreen Marketing Show live by Carrot.com. This is where the show where every week we teach you a new marketing tactic to help you master your online marketing so you can build a business of freedom and impact. So, if you're live with us right now, pop your questions in. Like I mentioned, put them in the chat. We'd love to help you out. If you're listening to the audio podcast version of this after the fact in our podcast app, join us live every week at 11 a.m. Pacific in our Evergreen Marketing Facebook group at community.carrot.com, where we do interactive coaching call, live Q&A. So this week, like Trevor mentioned just a minute ago, we are going to be doing kind of walking you through the psychology of and the order of what needs to be on a homepage to make it convert really well. What are the different sections like you have to have for a website to convert into leads predictably? So we're going to spend just a few minutes talking about that real briefly, and then we're going to dive into, on the live coaching call portion, we're just going to be showing off some new sexy features at Carrot, how to customize your website quickly and easily. So that's what we have going on today. Pop your questions in the chat. Trevor, let's kind of talk through what the website has to have on it to convert. What are the different things you got to lay out for someone?
For sure. And before I dive into that, you'd mentioned some of the things that we rolled out recently to make building these sections way easier, right?
Yeah.
So as we're going through this and you're listening to this or watching this, I want you to picture now going to your website, going to your Carrot website, and literally going into, we call them blocks or patterns. Patterns are a bunch of different elements connected together with content, sometimes images and forms, and you can just literally just drag it right over now. Or blocks are like, hey, I want to add in a video, or I want to add in this very specific thing. So blocks and patterns. But picture yourself as we're going through going, oh, I want to now take that concept of credibility, that concept of a hero section, or that concept of my bio, and go find the pattern for it on Carrot and just drag that pattern right over into my content. Now, before this, you would have had to go create all this stuff that was hard for even me to do sometimes, right?
Yeah.
To make this big old container and then add an image in there and get it all just right. We're listening to y'all and we're diving deep to make these edits way quicker. So we're not asking you to go do a bunch of work. We're literally saying go find the one and drag it over and let us know the feedback where we can make it better. So the first thing that we need to picture, and we've talked about conversion on the Evergreen Marketing Show a lot.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I'll actually link them up and put them in the comments in the show notes. But we did an episode with Katie a while back, 8 factors of the highest converting sites. So if y'all haven't heard that, go back and watch it, listen to it.
Because that dives really deep into the very specific elements. Like we're showing you on actual websites in that episode. Add this element to your page. What I'm going to do a little bit differently in this episode is we're going to walk through. Let's picture the conversation that's happening in your prospect's mind, because to be an amazing marketer, we have to understand the prospect. I think where a lot of people get stuck on marketing or building out their website is they like decouple that there's a human being on the other side of this that literally is having a conversation in their mind. And then that's over here. And then they go to build their website and they go, well, now let me just invent what I think I want to have on here. No, that's going to completely build something that likely does not resonate with the prospect. And this is something we've been teaching for over 10 years. This is not a new concept. It's direct response marketing. And I can't remember which copywriter it is. It's a famous copywriter from like the 50s, 60s. Might have even been before then. He says, if you want to be a great marketer, join the conversation in their mind. Okay, so what is the conversation?
I think I said that, Trevor. It
was Brady. That's right. 100% was Brady. So the first thing that goes through someone's mind is they land on your website because they got there because they have a problem that they want to solve. And whatever they did, whether it was a Google search or clicking an ad, or they picked up your direct mail piece, or they saw your billboard, they go, oh my gosh, I've got a problem. It seems like this thing might be able to solve it. So I'm going to go to that website now. Okay. And so the first question they're going to have is like, I've got this problem or pain. I want to solve it. Can this company solve it? And are they legit? We talked on a previous episode about what we call the 5-second grunt test. Right. And that's where they land on that page within 5 seconds. They need to understand, is this for me? Does it speak to me as a prospect? What does it solve? Okay, and then that general impression. Does it seem like this is a website I want to explore more that looks legitimate?
Yeah. And how can I get a hold of him?
Yeah. And so on that first thing, you're going to want to likely have locations. So if you're a location-based business, if you're an investor or an agent or a home services business and you're in Roseburg, Oregon, and you're servicing someone from Roseburg, you should probably have Roseburg pretty high at the top somewhere. So they
Yeah.
go check the box, bam. It's at least local to me. The number two thing then is don't speak about your solution right out of the gates. Speak about their problem and maybe how you solve the problem or the benefit of it.
Yeah.
So it could say sell your house fast in Roseburg, or the top HVAC repair specialist or whatever in Roseburg, and then say the benefit. Okay, get a cash offer, get your cash offer, or see investment properties.
Yeah.
And then some credibility. And we're going to show you guys in the coaching call portion or on the YouTube portion, we're going to show you us building a web page from scratch, from a blank page in under 10 minutes using these patterns that does that from scratch. So that's the first thing.
Yeah.
Is we've got to have that. The second thing that pops up once you pass the 5-second grunt test, I'm like, okay, it seems like it's for me. It seems like it's for the area that I'm in. And there's a good, clear first step there, but I'm not ready to put my information in there yet, right? I'm not ready to pick up the phone and call. I'm not ready to fill out that form.
Yeah.
The next thing that they're going to do is go, okay, I understand the basics that it seems like this might be able to solve my problem, but let me learn a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
And
And everything you've explained so far, that's all, just to reiterate, that's all in the hero section.
that's the hero.
That's the top section.
Yep. And then maybe right below the hero, like adding a credibility bar. And we're going to show you guys how that works here in a second with our new patterns to make it way easier. But then right below that is then we're going to have a section. It's usually a piece of content that has a good headline that reiterates what problem you can solve. So don't talk about your service. Maybe it could be, Roseburg's #1 cash home buyer. That could work there. That could be a headline, Roseburg's #1 cash home buyer. Then there's a picture with you and some sellers, or a seller that worked with you. Or if you're HVAC, it could be a picture with you and a client shaking their hand, or you're working on a ductless unit or something like that. And then we want to have a couple paragraphs of content there that now dives deeper. Hey, are you stuck out in the cold in Roseburg and your HVAC stopped working? Or are you struggling to sell this property? This property, maybe you inherited the property, or maybe you have 2 mortgage payments, you need to get rid of one, or maybe you're going through foreclosure. Well, we have services that can help you solve this problem. So you're just basically taking that conversation from the hero and bringing it down while you're starting to add a picture, bring some of that personal touch to it, which we've been doing that for years and years. And then you want to add a little bit of content. Okay. Yeah. And that's just a content block. That might be like an intro or content blocker pattern. Next conversation. Now let's keep dragging that conversation down. We've met them. We've shown them, hey, we're local. We can solve the problem. There's some basics. There's a little bit of credibility. So past that 5-second grunt test, now we're introducing them a little bit more deeply in what we do. The next thing that pops up now is they might say, okay, I understand a lot more. It looks like they've got a service where they can offer me a cash for my property, or it looks like they're a local real estate agent who can sell my property, or they can help me find one, or it looks like they're a local service business that does this type of thing I'm looking to do. Especially for wholesalers and flippers, where a lot of the general public doesn't know what a cash offer is, or maybe the creative ways you can help them. They might go, is this thing too good to be true?
Yeah.
Or they might go, I already know 10 agents. Why should I work with this agent?
Yeah.
So that's where now we need to bring in more credibility. We need to eliminate their primary objections right there before now we start to teach them more. Okay. Where I think a lot of people make some mistakes, Brady, is they then just start teaching.
Yeah.
And so we need to now build belief here. We need to build belief, eliminate the number 1 and number 2 objections. And we do that with credibility or testimonials. Okay, so when we're talking our new patterns, and we're going to show you guys live or on the YouTube version, just us bringing it over on video, that's where you're going to grab one of our credibility patterns.
Yeah.
Bring over credibility video section, or bring over a testimonial section or something like that. Okay, with the top 1, 2, 3 objections.
Yeah, and not just general testimonials, but
Yep.
testimonials like we've talked about in the past. Should the purpose of a testimonial is to combat specific
Yep,
objections? Can they
exactly.
close on this timeline that they claim
Dude,
to?
100%, because this is your chance. The further someone gets down a page, when you look at the data, and we'll do a lot of heat maps or scroll maps, right? The further someone gets down a page, the further down a page, the fewer percentage of people get there.
Mhm.
And so our job is cram as much of the right stuff at the top of the page. So by the time they get halfway down, they're just ready to opt in and fill out their information.
Yep.
Okay. So now we've got that. We started the introduction. We joined the conversation in their mind. We built up some initial credibility with a credibility bar or testimonial or something right under the hero. There's a content section now. Introduces maybe the first picture of you and a customer or something like that. They can identify themselves in that. And then there's a piece of content that says, hey, here's a little bit more of what we can do. And then it's, man, now let's eliminate any of the core objections with a credibility section. Now this is where we start to dive in more deeply into your service. Okay. Once again, this works for home services. This works for real estate agents. This works for any of that stuff, for real estate investors. Now we're going to go grab maybe one of our new patterns that talks about the services we offer, that talks about the situations that you can help people in. And this is where you can kind of mix and match a little bit based on your business. But at this spot, this is either where you're going to talk about the solutions you have. Hey, we can do these things, or here's the steps and how it takes to work with us. Or this is where you can say, here's the situations we help people. Okay, and I would kind of test both. But you're going to go grab that pattern and bring over the situations one and write down and replace in that pattern the top 3, 4, 5, 6 different situations that you help people in. If you're an investor, maybe it's inherited house and in foreclosure and water damage or flood damage. And then it might be the next row down there, and we'll show you guys visually on these with these little icons. It might be the next 3 situations, but always put the top situations that you work with people in that are the top 2 or 3 at the top.
Yeah.
That section. So now we're bringing them in, right? We're going, okay, cool. If you're one of these things, I want you now to identify with this. If you're one of these, you're going through one of these situations, we can help you. Okay. So now from there, the question that they're going to be asking once again is, okay, can this help me through my situation though? So that might even be where if you're a highly localized business and you're kind of regional or statewide and you're in multiple locations, you might even start to introduce locations there potentially. But I would probably stick with like the situations pattern. You can just bring it right over here. You in one of these situations, great, we can help you.
Yep.
Now, in most of these sections, especially the big content sections, we usually want to have a button. We usually want to have a button, or I suggest about every 500 words on these pages, you should have a true call to action. Right at the top of the page in the hero, we got a form. In the middle of the page, at about 500 words in, another form or a clear button that says sell your house or get your cash offer or schedule a maintenance or technician. Okay. And then below that now we're going to start to bring in more credibility again. Okay. So we've introduced them. We eliminated a little bit of the fear of like, are they legit with that credibility bar? Started to talk about a little bit more about what we do, introduce a picture. And then we dove in the big credibility section, eliminate the top objections. That builds more belief. And now down to the situations, they can start to see themselves in it. This is where I want to kind of sandwich those situations in credibility. Maybe I drag over a testimonial. It's a testimonial on the number 2 or number 3 objection, right? But that's where the person's going, okay, is this company the real deal? Around there, it could be right below that testimonial. I'm probably going to put a bio box because the person's going to go, great, I understand what they do now. Now I'm starting to think about the person behind the business.
Yeah.
Okay. That's where I want to bring that bio box over, that bio pattern, put your photo on there, put a little bit about why you do what you do and your experience. It could link up to your about page now if they wanted to dig a little bit deeper. And these are all patterns, dude, that now we're going to show people take minutes. It just takes minutes to drag over.
And that makes sense because hopefully by this point in the bottom of the page, they've seen your face in a photo or a video testimonial, and they're probably asking, who the heck is this guy?
Yeah. And there's only a couple more real sections. Now you can make these longer, and we've seen some on the Carrot platform that are really, really long, right? You might add another couple content sections if you want to go way deep and you need to get, let's say, 1,500 words on there because the other pages on that that are ranking high maybe just have more robust content. If you need to add more content, add a couple more content pages, but about every 500 words, have a good, clear call to action. And I would say never go like when someone's scrolling down the page on desktop, never make it so someone has to do more than 2 windows worth without hitting a testimonial.
Yep.
So if I'm scrolling down, I should always be literally like almost within a window's worth of scroll to hit the next piece of credibility or testimonial.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yep. So you're always seeding that in. So the last 2 parts here then is we just did the bio box. Now it's like, okay, great. I see all that. I feel like these people are probably legitimate because I've got the credibility and I see who they help. Now I'm probably going to do, well, I've still got some questions, right? And that's where you can bring in that FAQ. And we've got a few FAQ patterns that you can drag over in there now and just put in the most common questions. Okay, we've already seeded it with some for those in the real estate market, but you can just edit those questions. Now, Google loves those too. For ranking, if you look at a lot of the pages that are ranking really well today, Google is really rewarding ones with deep, robust FAQ sections on those pages.
Yeah, because the formatting is just so easy to digest. So great for conversion for a homepage, but also Google loves it because voice search is just trending like crazy. People are using voice search more and more and more natural, longer keywords. And so they want to see the exact question typed in and the answer directly
exactly. And so you put that FAQ page in, and in a rule of thumb, this is something we created in this industry and everyone else models because it works, is you always do the sandwich. Okay, you always do the sandwich. Now I sandwich 2 things. I sandwich my call to action sections in credibility, and you always sandwich the page in call to action sections.
Yeah.
So at the very front of the page, we've got a call to action, a form. At the very bottom of the page, you always leave with a primary call to action. I suggest a form rather than a button that goes back to the top, because then they can just fill it out right there.
Yeah.
But I've seen some people work okay with having the button at the bottom that then leads to another page or whatever. I just really prefer having the form right there that they can fill out
your information right away.
Yep. And then maybe if you wanted to, if you had some more amazing testimonials, dude, throw another one right below that form.
Yeah.
So now you're kind of sandwiching that form with credibility and content. And that's like the essential path. Now, if they're not ready to opt in or become a lead now, that's where they can explore your website and your navigation. They can go to your social media. Maybe they can go to check out some of your content. But if you structure your pages, location pages that way, your service pages, your home page, that page is going to convert way, way better. And we've made it probably 90% faster now this past month using the patterns drag and drop to make it, to either build it from scratch or to take our pre-existing pages and add and adjust those elements yourself.
Heck yeah, man. Sweet. Well, we ready to dive into the back end? Want to show people how this works?
Dude, let's do it.
Patterns. Sweet.
Let's do it.
Right, let's do it.
Okay. So let me pop inside of here. So I'm gonna bring up my screen. For the podcast listeners, do we need to wrap that part, or do we need to?
Just thinking, I forgot to tell them.
I'm trying to remember what the order is that we go on.
Podcast listeners, thanks for hanging on. Goodbye. I'm sorry I don't have my stuff together. I've been off the show for 3 weeks. I appreciate you listening. There's my thing. But really, if you're not with us live, come hang on the Facebook group, hop on YouTube so you can see this stuff in action. But otherwise, yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
And guys, and on the podcast, what I want you guys to do is I want to encourage the heck out of you. Is for me, hopefully the podcast is that thing that while you're on the go, while you're working out, we want you to pick up the concepts of marketing. Okay, where the execution is, that should inspire you to go, man, I want to now improve this part of my marketing. But it's really hard to learn all the tactical bits in the audio. So now this is where you go to the community, guys. Go to community.carrot.com. Join our Facebook group, the Evergreen Marketing community over there, where we're teaching these things. We're going live every single week. We're answering questions in there. And then make sure to go to our help center, help.carrot.com. We have a whole host of new tutorials around patterns, around these features that we've released. So check those out, guys. Let's dial in those. And this is going to be light years easier for you guys in the editing side.
Sweet. Sweet. All right, we'll dive into it. Let's answer a question, Trevor, before we dive in. Jim O'Connell says, service testimonial bio. The pattern is to attract SEO or targeted prospects? Does it
Mm.
do both in the process? So is it optimized for SEO or conversion? I think is what he's asking.
Yeah, it's a good question, Jim. So the ideal is both, right? I rarely want to do things only for SEO purposes. I think that's where we end up getting in trouble with a page that just looks kind of wonky.
Mhm.
And it might be a page that's way too long, and I think the length of a page is important from the perspective of, do I have the right content? Is it robust enough to be the best answer in Google for this particular search? And Google actually, they had a Q&A recently, and their head SEO guy, someone asked the question, hey, does length matter anymore? This is like a week ago.
Yeah.
Does length truly matter? And the guy answered, he said that the Google guy said, length doesn't matter. What matters is your answer the most complete, most robust, most authoritative answer on
Yeah.
the topic? And he said, if it requires a longer answer, make it longer. But if
Yeah.
you can do that shorter, make it
But
shorter.
adding a bunch of characters to try and gamify it is not gonna. It's
Yeah.
likely not gonna get you the ranking.
If the other ones are 1,500 words on average, and you think that I just need to make something that's 1,800 words and just a spew of words, then no, that's probably not going to outrank. So the short answer to it, Jim, is we want to be thinking about that conversation in the mind of the prospect first, right? Like, what is going through their mind, and what journey do I need to guide them down? If it requires having these sections to help eliminate objections, or help to have them be more clear and confident on what you do, and they can take the next steps, we should then write them in a way that Google is clear what we're doing as well.
Yeah.
Because then that can also help with SEO. So I'm gonna first create my page for conversion and joining the conversation in the mind of the prospect, and then I'm gonna ask myself while I'm writing that content, what are the things people might be typing in, and I'm gonna work in those words, work in those entities, and things like that. I think where a lot of people do is they start it from the perspective of SEO. They forget about the prospect, that the prospect is going on a journey with you.
Yeah.
And then it ends up being this disjointed experience where it's just not a good page.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, good answer, man.
For sure.
Well, you want to take it away? Let's do a screen share and show off some of these new blocks.
Let's share it.
Or
For
do we
sure.
want to share some of the new blocks before we go into the editing the page? What do you think?
Yes, we'll show kind of the new blocks and patterns. And the first thing that I want to show you all in the coaching call portion of this is one of the things that we pioneered early on with Carrot that really made the results pop over the last decade. You know, Carrot's been in business now right at 10 years. But I've been doing this SEO, content marketing, conversion rate optimization. I've ran more split tests than anybody in this industry by far, and we've processed more data, more leads than any other platform. Probably all the platforms combined times 2 or 3. Probably.
Yeah.
Right. The reason this is important is because early on with Carrot, we made it so your page was infinitely customizable. I'm talking, you could do anything on the page that you wanted. We didn't lock down any customization features at all. What we found, Brady, was because Carrot is known for and pioneered performance with your website in this space, people would go in and edit the page based on what they wanted it to look like, and then they'd hit me up and say, Trevor, this isn't working. I'm running paid ads to it. I go to look at the page and I'm like, oh my gosh, you completely broke the things that made it convert good.
Yeah.
Because they just wanted to toy with it and tweak it and make it look the way that they want it to look.
Yeah.
And so we said, okay, so while people might say that they want customizability, unless they're a conversion rate expert, that actually could be the very thing that hurts them. Right. And so then we said, well, what's best for people? What if we put kind of guardrails around it to where we say we restrict some of the customization, but we do it in a way that gives you a better chance to make sure that you can personalize it while still maintaining the conversion rate and the speed and those types of things that make Carrot perform so good.
Yeah.
Okay. So we did take a bunch of options away. We took a lot of options away and changing this and changing that. And we would hear from people for a period of time going, man, Trevor, I want to be able to make this thing this exact size and this exact color and do this and do this. And I understand it and I get it. The challenge that pops up, though, is oftentimes those have no bearing on the actual performance of the website. It's just something that person wanted to do. Now, I'll totally say I missed is we went so deep and so far into performance. We're like, we are going to just absolutely help make sure you get the best performance, put the most money in your pocket, even at the expense of someone wanting to put a pink elephant on the background of their page or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we went so far that direction as Carrot grew and as so many of you started crushing it all over the internet, then people wanted differentiation.
Mhm.
Right. And so that's where over the last year and a half, we said, okay, we really need to step into not just hyper optimizing and performance, which is actually the most important. We also understand that people want to be differentiated while they get performance.
Mhm.
So that's the question when we looked at patterns, we looked at how do we do that? How do we still create those guardrails so you don't lean away from the things that make a site convert well, but then how do we also give you the ability to more easily differentiate from others?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we're going to be showing you guys here with the patterns. Now, this is just our first wave of these blocks
Yeah.
and patterns. We want your feedback. We want your feedback. Hit up support, hit up our product team, post in the Facebook group, and say, hey, Trevor, this is great, but why is there this extra gap here? How do I get rid of that? Send that feedback through. Or I like this, but can we have a section that has this type of content on it? It'd be really useful for me. I don't find one in there. Or Trevor, what is this one for? Like I look at it, but I'll never use that one because it looks like X. Like give us that feedback.
Yeah.
Okay. Consider this step one or wave one of many waves in the future. And what we're working on right now is some insanely cool AI driven things that are going to blow your guys' minds as we come into 2025 that make all this way, way cooler.
I'm stoked, man.
Cool. So let's dive into the patterns. Okay. Once again, and I'm going to show here in our platform, there's something called blocks and there's something called patterns. Now, this is a native WordPress function. We've talked about, do we go away from some of the WordPress vernacular? Do we keep it? We've taken a lot of the WordPress vernacular out in parts of the application where we feel like it just it's not simple enough or doesn't serve our client. And then we've kept things in here where we're like, hey, let's see if this works. And if it still resonates with people and it's clear, we'll keep it. If not, we'll change it. But blocks are these basic, they're kind of building blocks, right? Do I want to add an image? Let's drag and drop an image over here. Do I want to add a gallery? Do I want to add a button somewhere? Let's just throw a button right here on the page and it allows me to add a button. Okay, those are blocks. They're kind of little building blocks. Now, what a pattern is a group of those building blocks. It's a group of those elements. A block is literally one individual element. It's a video. It's a line. It's a separator, it's a whatever.
Yeah.
But the challenge that came up for myself included is if I wanted to make a cool section that had like a background image and this content and a video and then a form down here, it's hard for a lot of us to do that.
Yeah.
Because you have to then create all these fancy containers and stuff. And so we said, well, let's look at our best performing websites. Let's look at the sites around the market and let's use that conversation that we're guiding the seller through or the prospect through, and let's build the patterns, the collection of those blocks that are going to be most commonly used to help you perform and help you customize. Okay. So that's where in those patterns, we kind of broke it down between call to action areas. So we want to make it so you have many ways to bring a call to action in your page and have it look great and insanely easy just to drag that collection of elements that we've designed over here so you can just use it immediately. Okay, there's other sections in here that go into the content side of it. So there's calls to actions and there's content. And within content, there's things like how it works. There's things like FAQ. There's things like solutions and really building, okay, here's a type of content that is commonly used and we want to make it easy for you to just drag that over and use it. Okay.
Yeah, one of the more popular ones since we released this latest batch has been situations, which I think if you scroll up a little bit more,
Yeah.
I think
Let's
situations block. Like what situations can we help people in?
Yep, exactly. Situation solutions, how it works. It's down there somewhere. So we're basically saying, let's take these common collections of pieces of content, like a bio box, and then give you multiple ways to display that. So yours truly can still have the high converting elements while looking different than someone else's in that same market. Okay. So I'm going to pop over here and actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a page from scratch. Now, what I don't suggest everyone does is actually do what I'm about to do. I don't suggest that you create a page from scratch. What I suggest you do is after you launch your site, you literally just go into, if I were to go into this one here, and let's just pretend that this homepage was like this by default. Okay, let's just grab this one here. Let's say this is how it looked out of the gates. I would use the default page out of the gates and say, great, now how do I spice this up using my own stuff?
Mhm.
Okay, so you might pop in here, and this one has been customized a lot using a lot of these patterns and blocks. But let's say you go, you know what, I want to add something different here. Okay, so there's a couple ways you can add things onto a page. You can click it, then you'll see this little bar that pops up with a plus sign. Okay, you click that, and then I would just usually just do browse all, because then browse all brings up all the options right there in this nice tidy bar here. Or there's another way you can do it is I can just click this plus sign, and I can go over here to blocks, or what we're going to focus on today is patterns. And let's say I want to put a call to action section in there, and I like this one. I can just drag it right down, and wherever that little orange line is where it's going to put it on the page. So you can see within an instant, we now have this really cool collection of elements.
That's legit.
Dude, it's a background image. So I can now take this and I can edit all kinds of things about it. I can edit this background image if I want. I can replace it. I can blur the image and just make it so people can see it's a house or a person or whatever. I can just blur it out if I wanted to.
I really like how the written content keeps the short codes in there, so it'll auto
Yep.
populate with the company name. So it'll be Brady Buys Houses is a real
Mm.
estate solution and investment company based here in Roseburg, Oregon. So it's all written for me. Maybe I'll tweak
Exactly.
it a little bit, but
Dude, so if you want to change the overlay, so let's say you don't like the colored overlay, awesome. Change the colored overlay, change it to a gray overlay or a blue or a orange overlay, or just get rid of the overlay altogether. You know, I can drag it down so it's just the image, and then I pop over here and change the size of the text or the color of the text or whatever it is.
put your pink
Okay.
elephant in the background.
That's right. That's right. So this isn't a great example because the image that I chose is really light, so it's hard to see the text. But that's just an example. Okay, those are the ways that you would take a page that already exists, and then I would, rather than just starting from a blank page, use our structure of the page and now spice it up with some elements. Okay.
Yeah.
But let's say I'm just going to create one from scratch because for illustration's sake, I think this is just kind of fun to show what we can do here. So let's just say this is, let's say it's whatever. It's sell my house fast Roseburg page. It's a location page I'm building. If I wanted to do something from scratch, I'm probably just going to do full width mode. So if you click this little deal up here, the three dots, there's a few different display options that we have. I like doing the full screen mode. Okay. Now I could take it off of full screen mode and I could go distraction free mode, which eliminates a bunch of the extra stuff. I could go spotlight mode, which is kind of cool, but I like the full screen mode. Okay, because that way then I can get rid of this even, and I'm literally editing full screen almost like it's the website that I'm looking at.
Closest to the actual website.
Yep. And so while we're in here, there's this little deal here. It's the settings, or it's almost like this accordion that says, hey, bring this little thing out to the right. And that's the thing that you're going to use to now customize a section of content. Okay. But let's do this. Let's add a hero section. So I'm going to click this.
I think it might have your screen share might have froze.
Did it?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
It's doing that thing again.
Let's see. Okay, what we'll do is this. We will, and guys, as you have questions pop up, let me know, because we could literally even grab someone on this call if you wanted some help customizing a page. Pop in your URL and let me know what you're looking to do, and we'll hop into your page and start to do some customizations for you. Okay, so let me know if this is working. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna click that plus sign up there,
Yep.
and I'm gonna make a hero section. Okay. The hero section is the top of that page that is the thing that, has the form and has the whatever. So I'm just going to type hero. There it is right there. I'm just going to go ahead and drag that over. It's the top of my page now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's say it's stacked. I want to make it stacked. And I'm going to put a form in here as well. Okay. So I'm going to do form. Put that in there. Let's select the form. And let's say it's this one here. And I'm going to usually take the form title and the form description and turn those off. Okay, form title, form description's off. And I'm just going to type a little headline. Now, the cool thing is I can use our AI rewrite tool. We've got some cool things on the AI side. But you can use that if you're using an existing page with existing content, right? Just click it and have our system rewrite it. But here, let's say it's sell your Roseburg OR house fast. I might type a little bit of text here, right? Looking to sell your property quickly. We can. Did it freeze up again?
Yeah, you might need to reshare it. Sorry, guys, we're having an issue. StreamYard's usually super awesome, but it's glitched out on us the last couple
Yeah,
times
let's
with our
do it
screen share.
again.
So bear with us.
Yeah, we'll make it work, guys. We'll make it work. Cool. So this is hopefully going to work for us here. Cool.
Okay, yep.
So now I can do this, and you can see it's got a background, but I can change the background. I can put an image in here. So let's say I want to go in here, click featured image. Is it staying up with me, guys, or is it? Oh, bummer.
Let me see. We might be able to. Let's see. How about let's do this? You want to send me that URL in the private chat?
Yeah.
Mine. We'll trade laptops. See if that fixes it.
Let's do it. I'll Slack it to you, Brady.
Okay.
Cool. The joys, y'all, of live demos. And it's probably my computer, I'm guessing. Cool. So I'll get that to Brady. We'll hop in. We'll swap some computers here. But what I'm going to show you is start to finish in the next 10 to 15 minutes. I'm just going to build that page. Okay. And what I'm going to do while Brady's pulling that up, guys, is rather than me talk through building the page and typing all the content, I'm going to drag over all the elements so you can see how quickly I build the page with the patterns. And then I'm going to dig in and edit the content. Okay. So you can see me build the page in about under 5 minutes. It's going to be definitely under 5 minutes. Then we're going to type up the content from there.
Okay.
Okay.
About there.
Cool. And I'm going to click save draft on it.
Okay.
Cool. So I'm done there. And we're going to do the switcheroo.
Give this a whirl. See if it works.
We're going to do the switcheroo here.
We are not giving up on you guys. Don't give up on us.
That's right. That's right. Okay. So what I did, actually, I sent you the wrong link. Let me, let's save this draft. Boom, over there. Bam. Check the Slack message. There it is. Cool. Okay, cool. And I will take over, and we are set. Share this tab instead. Okay, we good? Cool. So what I did in this page, guys, is I went through and I took this image. There's the default background image. I just grabbed one from the media library. I threw it in there. And of course, this isn't the best image in the world because of the color, but let's just pretend that it was. Okay, so what I want to do next, just like we talked through earlier in the podcast, is now I want to add in a little bit of credibility. So I'm going to go back to patterns here. I'm going to go down to reviews, and I'm just going to grab, let's say we've got that review section. Let's see, badges and icons section. I like that. I'm just going to go ahead and drag that down right below the hero. And I'm going to put in some sort of credibility or testimonials right there. So when someone's looking at this, bam, we've got hero, we've got credibility and testimonials. Okay, what do I want to do next now? I'm going to go back to patterns. And just like we talked about in that previous episode, I want to have a piece of content now that has a section of content. And I ideally want to have a picture with some content that kind of stands out as the starter, the intro type of content for our website. Okay, so there's several different things we can do. We can do the how it works. We can do that part. We can do the solutions. We can do bio. We can do meet our team, reviews, video sections, data and experience. That's actually a cool one that we could do right there below the hero as well. Or we've got these other ones also. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab, let's just go grab the solutions one. So I'm going to drag that down right below this section here, and it's going to populate underneath that section there. Actually, let me come on. Okay, there we go. So we're going to populate that bad boy underneath there. Okay, right there. So now we've got a section here that has an image. We can put in some copy. And then below this, I think this is where we're going to do something related to like the big testimonial section, the big credibility section. Okay, so we might do this review thing where we're having a thing to have people see the different stories, see the different credibility or video. So I might have a bunch of videos of our clients, people that we've helped. Okay, now we're going to go down here and say, hey, great, we've shown some of the people. Now we're going to show you what we do, how we do the work. So we're going to go into solutions now, or maybe here in the niche situations. Okay, let's go ahead and drag this one down there. And now we're going to talk about, great, here's the people we've helped. Here's the different situations we can help in.
Yeah, I could see that review block even work. This isn't what it was intended for, but even working for like a how it works block if you have videos explaining.
Oh, dude.
Thinking like we're looking at Brad's website a couple of weeks ago, and he has a website all about questions on probate and how to sell your house during probate. And he's got like how do I deal with this situation? Step one, step two. Could do videos explaining your process there.
Exactly. And so now we've got a testimonial section. We've got this. You know what I might add here now? I might grab this nice, tidy little call to action section. I'm going to bring that down and I can have this link to my homepage. I can even put a form in here if I wanted to. So I could just throw a form in here so people could, rather than having to click the button and go back up, I'm just going to have them fill out this form instead. Okay, so I'll get rid of this button just because I want to remove that button. That's going to be a gone, and bam, that's gone. Now I've got a form right here. Okay, and the cool thing is we can edit all kinds of things about this form. We can take this here, we can get rid of the content, we can do all kinds of things right here. Okay, so now we're going to move down. We've done that. We've got a call to action. And now let's say maybe we're going to do a section on a bio. Okay. Now we're like, hey, let's get that bio in there. So we're going to go here, bio about us. We can drag that down here now. Now I've got this bio section. If you don't like it how these colors are kind of meshing together, then pop over here and edit the colors or add something between those two sections if you want to. So I can take this overlay and make it different. So it is not, clashing with that blue. It's a different blue. It's an orange. It's whatever. Then I can change the copy on here. Okay, you guys get the idea here, right? So if I want to change that there, I would just go ahead and change the text, change the color, do whatever I want to do right here. All right. So I'm going to change this back to a blue section because I think it does actually look pretty decent when it is that blue section. Let me click there. Okay. Okay, let's move beyond that. So now I've got the bio box there. Now what we're going to do is now we're going to maybe add, we've already got a call to action there. We've already got a bio box there. Let's just say now at this point, we're going to add the FAQ. Okay, so now we're going to go down here. Let's go FAQ. I like this one here. And let's go ahead and drag this FAQ in right there. That's one of the several ways we have to display the FAQs. This one's kind of a big, long one that doesn't have the accordion. We have other options as well on how to display the FAQ, but that's where we're going to choose for this demo. And let's say now we want to wrap it up with a really, really good call to action with the form, with something like that. Okay, so we can come in here. There's badges and icons. I'm showing you guys more of these types of things. Maybe we want to introduce you to the team, actually. FAQ, here's the people you're going to work with. Bam, here's the team. Learn a little bit about us. And then maybe down here is maybe where I add that last call to action section. Okay, so let's add that last call to action section in here, and then we'll wrap it up. So this is kind of quick and dirty right now. After this, then I would go in and I would end up putting in the content. So I'm going to go and edit the content, do whatever I want to do there. All right. So let's go we didn't really add the how it works part. We could add the how it works part. There's going to be several options of how it works that are going to pop up here. And then the call to action, I can just add another one down here. Bam. This one here might just be the button, and then it's going to drive people back up to the form or do whatever we want to do. Okay. So if I were to preview this, it's not perfect, but in a few minutes, we took that structure we talked about and we just started to kind of build it out, just dragging and dropping it over. Now, like I said, there's a lot of things that we're going to want to edit on this. We're going to want to edit the content because this is a preview. It's kind of showing that's not going to how it's going to look on the page.
Oh, it's sharing just it's only sharing the tab instead of the whole window, so we can't see right now, but okay,
there we go. Yep, cool. So this is not the best looking in the world, but it's a start, and I built it from scratch in a few minutes here. So now I'm going to go in and edit my content, throw in the pictures, throw in the videos. Like I said, if the text needs to be changed in color, I'm going to change the text, the whole thing, but all the elements are right there, and it took a handful of minutes to do it. So that's kind of how I would attack this, y'all. Is you can build it just by dragging and dropping. What we want now, guys, is we want your feedback, because this is step one, like I said. So don't go into this going, man, I wish it had this, and not tell us what you wish it had. Tell us where you're having problems with it. Tell us where you want it to do something a little bit more different. Tell us where you're like, well, dude, I wish every time I use this one, I make the image bigger. Right. That's what I would do on this one. I'd be like, man, I'm always going to want to make the image a lot bigger here. And so if everyone's always wants to make the image bigger, then we'll just make those more the default sections moving forward.
Yeah. Sweet, man.
As an example. So that right there, that's kind of cool. Right. So now we can have a bigger image there, have some content, have some text, throw in your videos, the whole thing. So that's kind of an intro, guys, to our new patterns. And what we can do in the final minutes is, if anyone has questions, we can dig in, and we can just start to take one person's page and adjust a couple elements on it if people wanted some help with that. Let us know.
Nice. See any questions, Braden? I think besides Jim, that was the only question we had today.
Cool. Good.
But
Good.
yeah.
Well, guys, as people are looking at this, I want you pulling up those pages and trying out at least one pattern this week. Because that's my call to action to you on the YouTube side or watching this here on Facebook, is find one pattern to add to your website this week. Okay, it might be the bio box on your homepage or location page. It might be grabbing and throwing in a testimonial a section. It might be you know what? I really want to build a more robust situations or how it works section. Add one section in your website this week, and then get used to those patterns, and then give our team, whether it's in the Facebook group or directly through our live chat, say, hey, this was great. I love these ones, or I'd love to see these ones next. And we're going to keep making this better and better and better and better.
Sweet. All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks for hopping on. This was really fun to kind of nerd out and break down some of the patterns we have, some of the new features at Carrot. Yeah, like Trevor said, if you see anything that you want to see added or improved, definitely just hit us up via live chat at carrot.com, or let us know in the Facebook group. We've got open ears and eyes. But yeah, thanks for hopping on, and feel free to join us next week. We're going to be talking about next week is how to rank #1 for your company name. So going back to a little more SEO. But we get this question a lot. It's like, even if I'm not going after some of the more competitive terms, how can I make sure I'm showing up in Google when people type in my name, when they're trying to find me?
Dude, and that's the very first thing you should ever even think about ranking for. So when people launch a website, they start thinking about the other terms, like the sell my house fast, or HVAC and Roseburg. The very first thing is you need to control the conversation around your brand first. That's where we always suggest you start there at what we call decision phase, right at the point when people are ready to make a decision. The first spot that they look to determine if you are the one they're going to work with or not is your brand search. So we're going to show you how to nail that.
Especially if you're doing offline marketing, any TV, radio, postcards, direct mail, any of that, you're wasting money if you're not showing up for your brand in Google.
Heck yeah.
Sweet.
I love it.
All right. Thanks for hopping on, everybody. We will see you next Thursday, 11 a.m. Pacific. See you guys later.
Heck yeah. See you guys. Thank you all.